Hi everyone, welcome to today's session. I'm Kristy, the founder of Well Balance, where it's my mission to help you connect with your people, whether they be your loved ones or your work colleagues or your team. Grow in your understanding of yourself and your ability to connect with your people, because that is going to help you live your best, most contented life, live life to the full. That's my mission. Thanks for listening. Welcome here today. I'm planning a 5-week follow-on of explaining and expanding the 5 pillars of emotional intelligence and how they can impact you, and how, if you choose to do the work to implement them in your life, you can achieve success in your relationships, your personal relationships, your work and professional relationships. So we'll get straight into it. Pillar number 1 of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. Self-awareness is something that I know I'm always going on about, but I'm very passionate about the power of self-awareness and the power of you having a knowledge of yourself and an understanding of the core of who you are, how that really strongly influences your relationships, influences your ability to connect with others. Because if you have an understanding of your best self, and you can harness that understanding and use it in your relationships so that you're responding to people in healthy ways, and you're not picking up or picking on bad habits of others and letting them to influence you and letting them to take control of your interactions or how you respond. Self-awareness, so important. First pillar of self-awareness is identity. So, do you have a strong sense of your identity? Do you know who you are? A lot of people, when I ask them this question, I'll say, okay, who are you? They'll say, oh, well, I'm a really good tennis player, and I'm really good at keeping my house tidy. As I look around my house. People often refer, when I ask them about their identity, they refer to the things that they do, the things that they achieve in life, their successes. Like, I won this and I won that and I was the most successful person in this. People rely on those external things to define them, and there's a big problem in that those external things that you do achieve, succeed, can change in the blink of an eye with external circumstances that are beyond your control. So having a strong sense of identity formed from within is the best and most strongest way to build your character and build your sense of self on a really firm foundation. So how you can do that is to consider and think about your beliefs, your values. What is it that you think is most important in life, and what do you live? The values that you want to instill in your team or your children, the legacy that you want to leave one day when you die. What is it that you want people to remember you for? They're your values, the things that you think, now this is the most important thing in life. Have a think about them and really articulate and get some clarity on what your values are, because I'm surprised by how many people haven't really put a lot of thought into this. And that's a key part of your identity. Your values, your beliefs, how you think the world works, how you think that people should interact and treat each other, how you believe you treat someone else, and how you expect to be treated by them. Your key character traits, what is it that makes you you? Whether you're a humorous person, whether you're generous, whether you pride yourself in being kind, or whether you pride yourself in being a motivated person and an encourager. What are those character traits that make you who you are? Be clear and have a really good understanding about who you are, what you stand for, and then stand for it. Do you have a good understanding of your strengths and weaknesses? Playing to your strengths is a really great approach in life, because if you're aware of your strengths, you can obviously play to them and achieve success, derive your goals from where you can head yourself and where you can take control of what you can do and what you can achieve, but being aware of your weaknesses as well. Weaknesses are not something to be shied away from or ashamed of. No one can be strong at absolutely everything. Therefore, the logic around that would be no one could expect not to have weaknesses. Yet I get surprised again by how many people are really threatened by acknowledging their weaknesses, are fearful of admitting that they have any weaknesses, just have this sense that if I'm not perfect, I must be a complete failure. And it's just completely wrong. You are not a failure if you have weaknesses. And in fact, if you acknowledge you have weaknesses, that I see that as a real strength, the strength of your character, that you have done this work and you can identify. So don't be threatened by your weaknesses. Don't feel that you need to defend them. Explore, do some exploring in your life and think, okay, what are my weaknesses? Where do I fall down? Where could I improve and grow? What is it that people are repeatedly telling me, you could do a better job of that, Kristy? Think about those weaknesses. Don't be scared of them. Be aware of them, and then you can harness your power again by deliberately working on them to improve them, and also being mindful and aware that you don't have to be threatened every time someone raises one of these points. You can just say, yeah, that's me. I'm working on it. That's all right. We can all respect that. I hope that we can all respect that in others. A healthy awareness of weaknesses too. Be aware of your triggers and traumas. So we all have had bad experiences in the past. What is it that you've experienced in your life that is now a bit of a trigger for you? It could be something really big, like a significant trauma, or it could be just something that you're a bit sensitive on, like one of your weaknesses. Are you sensitive when someone raises a point where you might not be perfect? Okay, be aware of those triggers and traumas and how they impact you. Okay, so when we are triggered emotionally, oftentimes there'll be an instantaneous response, an automatic response to that trigger, and our body and our emotions can tend to feel out of control. So if you have taken the time to identify what your triggers and traumas are and think about how you respond to those, when an occasion arises where you might be triggered, you can draw on that knowledge that you have previously embedded in your brain when you've been thinking about and identifying what your triggers are and being intentional about how you would like to respond. In that moment of trial, when your body and emotions can be taking over, you can draw on that knowledge and really take control of the situation to what you would desire. So you can say, rightio, I've just had a trigger pressed. This is what it is. This is the emotion I'm feeling because of that. And I probably knew that would happen. So what do I want to do next? Do I want to have a crazy all-out meltdown? Or do I want to take stock and realize that yes, my triggers are being pressed. Yes, I'm not going to feel great. But if I just do A, B, and C, I'll probably be able to settle down. A being maybe taking some deep breaths. B being getting a drink of water. C being go for a walk, leaving the room, just saying I'll be back in a minute. I've forgotten something. Whatever it might be that you can use as your strategy to help you deal with your triggers and take control of your life. And that's all relevant because I know that if you do all these things, you can really harness your life. You can harness your knowledge of yourself to achieve the goals and dreams that you want to achieve. I assume, since you're watching this, your goals and dreams are centered around the relationships, the important things in your life, the important people in your life, achieving goals at work with your colleagues, at home with your family, the people that you love. If your goals aren't centered around that, I'm not sure why you're watching this, and this is probably not the YouTube channel for you to subscribe to, because I'm all about connecting with your fellow humans as the greatest goal in life and the most fulfilling fulfilling thing that you can do on this earth, connecting with others. So if you want to leave any comments below, feel free to contact me. Go to my website for the details there. Share this info with someone that you might think is helpful. Until then, I'll see you next week where we're going to discuss Pillar 2, which is self-regulation and emotional regulation. Until then, go out there, connect with your people, grow in your understanding of yourself and your ability to connect with others, and live your life to the fullest, most contented that you can. Get out there. Thanks for listening. See you next week.